Yes, yes, yes. You know what it is? It's Ask Rick on Boxing Talk with Raphie. But there's two things missing. There's two things missing. What's the first thing? What's the first thing that's missing? That's right. It's the drums. It's the drums. It's the drums. And what's the most important thing that's missing? What's the most important thing that's missing? That's the question. That's the question. And you know exactly what it is. It's Rick Glaser. Rick Glaser in the building. Rick Glaser, how do you do? Uh-oh. My bad. There you go, Rick.
Doing well. Thank you for asking. Everything's fine over here in America, getting a little better with the COVID. We're getting into bigger fights now. And just looking forward to what life brings us right about now,
100%, 100%. Yes, I hear you with the COVID. I've only just got back to work full time. I work for myself, but we got clearance from the government to go ahead and keep on keeping on. So time constraints have kicked back in, but I think you know, and the people know that we got to get this thing. We got to get this thing going every week. The margins are shorter, but it just means that I got to be more precise. And before we go any further, Rick, let's get this thing. Let's get the ticker in. Okay, we got that. And secondly, let's get the proper backdrop. Get rid of that one and get into this. Okay, Rick's dropped off for a second. We'll be back. Have no fear. Boom. Boom. All right, give me 1 second. Let's get this in. Boom. Okay, that's good. So we got the backdrop now, and boom. We got Rick. We got Rick back. Okay, so let's get this backdrop corrected. There we are. There we are, Rick. It's been a very, very interesting weekend that's just gone, and we're looking forward to a very interesting weekend coming.
Yeah, well, we saw some good, decent fights this past weekend, and one was very controversial. One, the champion missed the weight and got stripped of his title. This weekend we got big fights. We're ready. That's all there is to it. We're ready.
We're ready to get into it, and let's do the sound check. Let me go over and make sure that everything is as it should be. Where are we now? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Boom, boom. That's excellent. Excellente. Excellente. Okay, so everybody get your questions in. And what we got here? What we got here? We got the first question. We've got the first question already. People are beginning to populate the area. And for those who've never been here before, the name of the show is Ask Rick. And as the title implies, you can come on in, everybody, near and far. Get your questions into Rick Glaser, Industry Insider, and Rick will be happy to oblige. And so without much further ado, let's get into the first question. This is from Roger Lee. Roger Lee back in the building. And his question is, Rick, how do you think Gallimore versus Fandora is going to play out?
Anything to do with Fandora is very difficult. I don't think much of either fighter, but Fandora should win, should go to a decision. But I don't think much of either guy, to be honest with you. I see Fondor winning the decision, but neither guy's going anywhere in the big picture.
Okay, so we got that in there. We got that. We got the proper heading. There we go. Okay, and let's go over to. Oh yeah, we got James Jameson regular in the building. So good evening to James. Good evening to everybody who's coming in, populating the area. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that share button. Okay, so we'll go to one of mine. Over the week we had the controversial. Start with the weekend just gone. We had the controversial Romario. Controversial decision with Romario, who came away with the win. Very controversially. A lot of people had different opinions. How did you see that fight, Rick Glaser?
I didn't score the fight because I thought I didn't think it was even close. It was a no-brainer. I clearly gave it to Marinas, and then they shockingly announced a scorecard, so I had to watch it over again. And I gave the guy 3 rounds of Romero. I mean, it was, and then one guy gave it 118, 110 for Romero. I mean, all 3 judges. I mean, I'm friends, very good friends with one of the judges. I was even afraid to call him and ask him what the hell he was thinking. I love the guy, but Jesus Christ. I mean, I thought it was 9-3, to be honest with you. I thought the Dominican Marinas, completely dominated the fight. The other guy looked like he couldn't even hold his hands up. The other guy has power, but he doesn't know how to use it. I mean, fighting D and C fighters, he looked good, but now he's fighting a B+ fighter, and he didn't look too good. He was pretty pathetic, actually. He really needs a trainer, a real trainer. No question about it. Needs a real trainer. These people don't have a clue because the guy's almost inept except for the power.
Terrible.
Yep.
I was watching the fight. I think I fell asleep because it's late over here. It's really not friendly for the UK those times. It's I think I fell asleep, but I was watching the fight, and this Romero guy, he was just one punch. One punch, tried to knock him out. Then another punch, tried to knock him out. Get a couple of jabs. Then another punch. It was to me, Rick. To me, that's not why I watch boxing. I don't watch boxing to see a guy doing that.
It looked to me like Romero's a victim of his own punching power. So what I mean by that is he's been relying on his punching power because he's been fighting so many ham bones, so many stiffs, that he just think he'd swat the guy a few times and he'd go away like everybody else. Now he's at that world-class level, fighting a guy at a world-class level, and he hit that guy a few times and nothing happened. Holy shit, what do I do now? He didn't know what to do. He had no clue. That's what happened. So, shoot.
It was. That's not what I watch. That's not why I watch boxing. That is not why I watch boxing. And I was not very happy with that fight whatsoever.
It wasn't even a good-looking fight in the ring. Forget about the scorecards are bad. It was not even a pretty fight, and that's very telling on Romero, because the other guy was trying to force the fight. Romero didn't know how to fight. It's like, I don't know. It was very weird. It was like when you saw a guy who could punch, he didn't know how to throw him. He didn't know how to land him. He didn't know how to maneuver himself in position with his feet. He didn't know anything. It's like it was like somebody put two gloves on a pole.
And apparently that was his 12th. That was his 12th fight. 12th. How the hell are you going into? Okay, Lomachenko got a title shot on his second fight, but that's a different story. He had like 350 amateur fights. That's a different category. This guy gets a title shot in his 12th.
Well, wait. This was an interim title fight. Lomachenko's is the real title. There's some confusion. You can't confuse the two of them. An interim title fight's basically an eliminator. Yeah. The only problem was the guy who won the eliminator should have been eliminated. So it's pretty sad. I mean, the whole thing was wrong. I mean, he couldn't fight. The judges scored it wrong. It was ugly. And then he's bragging about being a champion in the post-fight interview. The guy should have been embarrassed and said he would have made a lot more fans if he would have said, "Hey, I didn't win that fight. I'm embarrassed to be standing here." He would have been a cult hero. He wasn't smart enough to do that, and the people around him weren't smart enough to do that. So I don't know. I don't know what to say other than that.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. That's not why I watch boxing. But hey, things happen. I think maybe some people got reality checks today, or on that weekend. Some people got reality checks, and there's a lot of work to be done with Romero. He's got to learn for one. The name of the game is boxing. Not try your luck with every shot, and hope for the best. As a matter of fact, it reminds me of it's kind of Charlo-esque, not as good as the Charlos, but kind of Charlo-esque with that dependence on. It reminds me of that dependence of power. Was it Charlo versus Harrison 1? When he was just looking, Charlo was just looking for that power shot and failing to actually box. That's what it reminds me of, Rick, although it looks like you're frozen. Looks like Rick has frozen. Okay, so I think while Rick drops off and jumps back in, let me go over into the chat. James Jameson is here, says yes, 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 indeed. Raphie Dawkins, linear radio champ. OMG. James says, ask Rick any predictions for upcoming White versus Povetkin. Once Rick drops off and comes back in there, I see him. Remove that one and bring in the real Rick. Okay, Rick is back. And the question from James Jameson.
It's hello?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
It's a horrible feeling. It's horrible.
Let me see.
I can hear myself.
Okay, hold on then. Let me try this. I'm going to mute you, and then I'm going to speak, and then see if you can hear me. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so now you're muted, and now I'm speaking. How's that now? Is that fine? Is that fine? So we're going to have to go back and forth with the muting. Okay, over to you.
Okay, yeah, no, it's still doing it now. Let me hang up in front of it.
Bring in Rick. Let's see. How's it now?
Hello? Yeah,
hello.
It's good.
1, 2.
It's good.
1, 2. It's good. Okay. So,
yeah. I like White in the fight. The other guy's 40, 41 years old, a little past it. He's a durable guy. If there's a stoppage, it'll be very late in the fight. And White should win the fight either by decision or late stoppage. Now, you never know what White's going to come, because if he's not motivated, he doesn't look good. So, hopefully he's going to be motivated. I mean, Povetkin's a former champ. He was a gold medalist in the Olympics. He was an excellent fighter. So I would hope he would be motivated, especially knowing that Fury's could be next, whoever, if this doesn't motivate him, nothing will. So I like Dillian White by late stoppage or by decision, but not early. It's going to be a good fight. He's going to get ground down, I believe.
Yes. That's going to be a good fight, but Alexander Povetkin still dangerous, Rick. Alexander Povetkin still dangerous.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the last thing you lose is your punching power. So yes, I would. He's definitely dangerous. He's a good boxer. He can punch. He's strong. He's got a good chin. He's a complete fighter. But he's 40, 41 years old. He's a touch past it, and I looked forward to Dillian White, like I said, winning. Just a matter of how late, and or does it go to the scorecards?
Yes, yes, yes. Just keeping on that vein for a couple more seconds. We did see Povetkin, which there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about Povetkin being past it, but we can't forget that he went 12 rounds with Michael Hunter, and I think he won that fight.
I thought Michael Hunter won. So
yeah, you know, but it was close. But it was close. It was close.
Put it this way to you. As I said, either Hunter won or it was a draw. I just couldn't see Povetkin winning, and it was a draw. You know, so I didn't have a problem with it. But you know, it was a good fight. You know, no question about it. It's a funny thing. A 40-year-old can keep up with a guy who's got legs like Michael Hunter does, good movement and stuff like that. That's pretty impressive in itself.
It's very impressive, and that's why I say to you, and I say to everybody, he's just gone with a young guy, Hunter. I think Hunter's younger than White, or maybe it's the same. It's the same age group. They're very similar in age. I think 32 and 33.
Yeah, I heard they're fighting for the ped belt on Saturday. That's what I heard. That's the rumor.
Hey, the real fight for the ped belt happened in I think it was it September 2015? Klitschko versus a guy that you like. What's his name? Luke Fury, aka Tyson Fury.
Hey, so be it. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. You have a lot of ped balls.
OMG. Okay. So let's get back into the weekend just gone. And Benavidez, what is he doing? Comes into camp overweight, comes into the bubble overweight. He blames it on the camp being in the bubble. But the funny thing is, the guy's got his own damn gym and still can't wait. Loses his belt at 168 pounds. Rick Glaser.
He's not a 68-pounder. He's a very undisciplined guy. And he's a growing kid. He's 22 years old. He's a big kid. And he can't make the weight. I don't care. You can come up with any excuse you want. He's not disciplined, and he's a growing kid. He's got a huge frame. And he's not a 68-pounder. Now, he may be able to make 68 for a fight, not be 100%, or make 68, maybe be 90%. But he may win. But as soon as he goes to that next level, when you need your strength at 168, he won't have it. So he's a 75-pounder. They can talk all this happy horse shit that they want. Blame COVID, blame the bubble, blame this, blame him, blame his Johnson's 2 inches longer than the other guys. You know, what the
fuck? OMG. So what's the future? What's the future for Benavidez? You're his manager. What do you do?
I would move him up to 68, and I'd fight a year of get ready to fight real fighters at 75, like 3 guys right in a row, and not one fight, and then go right to the big guys. Fight 3 guys you're supposed to beat and get adjusted to the weight, grow into the weight class over the next year, and get ready, because he can't beat Beterbiev. Because if he's number 1 in the BC, he'd have to fight Beterbiev. Oh my God! Unless they're going to award him Beterbiev the franchise belt, if Top Rank allows that. I don't know. It's a hot mess. But I wouldn't want to. If I was Benavidez people, I wouldn't want to put him in with a guy who's got the strength of a heavyweight.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't want to do it. I don't know if Benavidez has got his full strength yet. Being only 22, he seems to, but do we really know if he does? We really don't know. So I don't know what he was like 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, and 4 years ago. He just came on the scene 3 years ago, and okay, he's a good fighter. We're impressed, but Obviously, he's the only guy I know that's undefeated, and he's 22 years old, been stripped of the same belt twice. I think that's got to be a boxing record. It's very an infamous record at that. First of all, it was drugs. Now it's weight. So it's a lot easier if you're doing cocaine like he was supposed to be doing. That's what was found in his system. It's a lot easier to make the weight because cocaine's cut with speed, and the speed speeds up your metabolism.
Yeah.
So it's easier to make the weight. So now he's not on drugs, but now he can't make the weight. It's a real conundrum over there. No question about it.
It's a real conundrum. It's a real conundrum. It really is. And so we got more people populating the area. Remember to smash the like button on your way in, folks. Okay, so let's get into it. Where are we now? Okay, Raphie was on mute. Yep, thanks. I realized that. Much appreciation. Where are we? Big Boys Boxing says Povetkin has a better gas tank that's almost 42 than Dillian White does. And that is a problem for White. That might be a problem for White, the gas tank. The gas tank.
No, the problem, the guy that wrote that spelled White 2 different ways. But anyways, realistically, he does have a good gas tank for his age. There's no question, but you still can't take away the age. Father time, it's just, just take myself, and I'm not even an athlete. When I was 40 years old, I went up the stairs fast. When I was 45, I slowed down. When I was 50, I slowed down. When I'm 60, I got to use the railing to go up and down now. I'm 62. So, and I'm not even an athlete.
What are you going to be like when you're 70? What are you going to be like when you're 70, Rick?
Using both hands to get up and down the stairs, probably. So, we're not even counting the bedroom. Oh, Jesus. I'm still batting pretty good there. But the truth is that it's just, you get the stages of slippage. And, Povetkin is at that stage. How many fights can you be in? How many wars? He had 400 amateur fights. So there's another answer. A lot of tread on those tires.
There's a lot of tread on whose tires? Who are we talking about? A lot of tread on whose tires?
Povetkin.
Oh, yeah. There's
those Russian tires of his.
The Russian tires. Okay. So let's crack it. Let's crack on to see plenty of questions. It appears is coming on through. James Jameson, totally agree with Rick. I'm backing White by KO 8-12. I'm backing White by KO 8-12, but you know something? I have to be pragmatic. And even though I want White to win, hey, if the odds are good for the other guy, for the guy who I think is going to lose, I'll still put a cheeky tenner on Povetkin. I'll put a cheeky tenner on Povetkin just in case if the odds are good. Okay. I had Povetkin winning the last 6 rounds. Dang, that's a lot of rounds. Hunter faded fast after the first. He did fade. WBC silver. Okay. 1 second. Let me just mute that there. Okay. So we're looking for the questions. Growing kid Benavides, 250 pounds at 13 years old. Is that a fact? Hold on a sec, Rick. Boom. There you go. You're in.
He was the fat kid in the neighborhood. He got picked on, and he ended up in a boxing gym because of it. Dang. So yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's what happened. So listen, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so no real questions there. I'll give you 2-1. Okay, I think I can get better odds than that, though, James. Better odds than that. Okay, so let's crack on with some questions. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, so let's talk about Otto Wallin, who stops Travis Kaufman. I think that was in the 5th round, Rick.
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder. Travis retired after the fight. He was done before the fight started. He hadn't fought in 2 years. He had a shoulder problem. He had the COVID. Game's over. Now he at least came to conclusions that it's over, and he announced it publicly. I mean, it had to be playing on his mind the last 2 years that there's other things to do in life, and you can only get hit in the head so many times, and he took it well. and he was a trooper. But that was then. This is now. It's a shame about his career. He never got a win over a formidable guy. Never beat a formidable guy. If you look at his fight, all his wins were against journeyman, and when he stepped up 4 times, he got stepped on. And I like the kid, but he just, I don't know. He didn't have the physicalities to be a top fighter. He was a little on the chubby side. He wasn't tall for the weight class. He was short for the weight. A little bit of everything. He just didn't have the to get to that next level. He could beat the guys that you're supposed to beat. He couldn't beat the guys that you're supposed to beat to make the big money in the sport.
Mm-hmm. Did he ever? Was he ever promising, Rick? Did you ever look at him and say
he was a national amateur champion? Sure, he was. Oh yeah, he was a good fighter, a real good amateur, and people had a lot of promise for him when he first came up. Everybody wanted to manage him and call him his father and and partnerships and
wow.
Big, coming out of the amateurs, he was a better prospect than Chaz Witherspoon was. So there you go. So, but Chaz Witherspoon, he was in some big fights, made decent money and stuff. But he's the same thing. He doesn't hold a credible win either. So, yeah, I don't know. These guys get to a certain level in the heavyweight division, and they just, it separates the men from the boys.
They find a level. They find that true level as they step up. Okay. Sure. So that was Chad Witherspoon, who was slick. I did see some slickness out of him. He's got some nice little slick hooks, which I liked. I think I'll study that. I like the hooks. I like the unexpected.
Yeah, Travis couldn't have beaten Chaz Witherspoon. No way, no how. Not in professional boxing, anyways.
I see. So that is Chad Witherspoon. I mean, that is Travis Kaufman, who was now retired after his recurring shoulder injury. Happened again. That's why they call it recurring injury. Happened again in the 5th round, and the referee let him take a few more slaps to the chops, and then it was all she wrote. Okay, as we move on, people, get your questions in the chat. Don't complain to me later if you run out of time, so get them in now. Okay, so I know you're not into the women's boxing thing, Rick, but did you see Jessica McCaskill versus Cecilia Brækhus? Did you watch that one?
Absolutely not. I'll leave female boxing to Eddie. He can have it. Every dollar he makes on that female boxing, he deserves. I'm an old school boxing guy, a purist, and I'm not saying they don't have talent. I'm just not in this watching women hit each other. As I said to you, the perfect woman, is either in the kitchen making food or headed to the bedroom with high heels on.
OMG, Rick, I can't comment on that. Rick. I may agree or disagree, but that show, I'll leave that to people's imagination. Okay. So where are we now? We're moving on. Oh, damn. We're coming up to the present time. Hold on. There was a question I wanted to ask you. Where is it? I got so many damn windows open here. Don't be surprised if I catch an aneurysm, Rick. Okay. Did you catch the Israel Madrimov versus Eric Walker? Did you catch that fight, Rick?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't want to watch the main event. When I'm not excited about the main event, I don't get too excited about the show. Period. It was all right. He's a good fighter. But he's a good fighter. Eric Walker's just a tough, old school type of fighter. Yeah. He's not old school, but he fights like old school. Yeah. Tough guy. But there was no reason. The referee erred, and the corner should have been Walker's corner should have been smart enough to throw the towel in and say, "Ref, that was a punch. My guy can't go on. He's concussed." I mean, that was ridiculous. That was a bad call.
Yeah, very bad.
It's a funny thing. Gary Ritter, the referee, is a very good referee. Quality referee, a quality person. He made a mistake. I get it. But if he made a mistake, the commission should have said something. The corner should have, Walker's corner should have pulled the plug. You don't let a guy go out there after he was basically knocked out. He was. And that was stupid. And everybody, I can't get mad at Ritter for making a mistake. We're only human. He's an excellent referee, and who can referee any fight that I'm ever involved with. He's a quality guy. He's a quality ref. He's an all-there guy. He made a mistake, but everybody else compounded that mistake. The commission should have said, "Hey, it was a punch. Please stop the fight." Or the corner should have said, "Walker's corner, it was a punch. My guy's concussed. We're done." You don't let your guy go out and get killed. He wants to get to win that fight. What were they thinking?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you that. Why would the corner
retarded thinking? Seriously, those people were riding the little yellow bus on the way to school. They weren't in the regular bus. Trust me. Bad decision.
Yeah, dumb. Very dumb. Very dumb. Very dumb. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't see the logic. I don't get it.
I get it. Mentally inept. The guy, the trainer, and the commissioner are mentally inept. Have to be. I mean, that guy Joel Miller, that's the commissioner out there. He's a moron. I know that. I know that. I live 15 states over from him, and I know he's a moron.
Does he know that you know he's a moron?
Oh, he knows. I know. I called him on the carpet about something last June, and I with the ABC, and I won the battle with the ABC, which is the American Boxing Commissioners Association. I won the battle with the ABC, and they told him they had to take the fighter off suspension. And he wasn't going to take him off suspension. I called the ABC, Mike Mazzulli, the president. He says, "Rick, again, you're right. I got to make the call." He said, "Tell the guy he's wrong." I said, "Okay, let's do that." So that's the story there. So
that's the story there. He's well, okay. Let's leave it at that. I don't want to add to that. I don't want to add flames to the fire. There's enough. I think it's pretty clear what's going on. Okay, let's get into the chat, see if we got a question. What's going on here? I'm 2 months older than Povetkin, and I realize what you are saying, Rick, but Povetkin is not 50. He's 42 in September and is an athlete and has been for a long time. I think he's saying
that's the negativity, that he's been doing it a long time, because boxing is degenerative, number one. Okay, number two is the fact that he is 42 and not 32 and not 35 and not 37. He's 42. It goes in increments. It doesn't mean it's 40 and then 45. It's slowly, but you feel it at 40, then you feel it again at 45. If you're really, and that's not. I'm not even an athlete, and I feel it. You're talking about precision here. You're talking about power, getting hit back. It's not just throwing punches. It's being a catcher. The return fire. The greatest line in history. Ready? Everybody looks like Sugar Ray Robinson so they get hit in the face. Okay, that changes everything.
Yeah. Degeneration.
Years ago, I had a mother bring me her son. I was at a local boxing gym, and she comes down one day and she says, "I have my son, and I looked at a film of Sugar Ray Robinson, and my son fights just like Sugar Ray Robinson. He can punch. I had been in a boxing ring before." She says, "No." I just let me come in and he can hit the bag a few times. He looked like Sugar Ray Robinson. We put him in the ring. We never saw him again. He got the shit beat out of him. He had the heart of a pea. There's so many intangibles. People don't get it. It's how good your chin is, how good your desire to, your heart, how big your heart is, how good your chin is, your desire to succeed. There's plenty of guys that just box to turn a buck. There's plenty of guys that just box because everybody wants to go out and see them, and they're proud of themselves. They're local heroes. Some guys box because they can get women that way. Some guys fight for money. Some guys fight because they can be a world champion. Everybody fights for a different reason. It's a state of mind of a fighter. But another real quick story. I was the matchmaker for a show once, and the weight was 47 plus one. It was a 48-pound. It wasn't a title fight. It was a 48-pound fight. The guy comes in at 49 and a half, right? And the guy 49 and a half couldn't fight a lick. Okay. Well, this is funny. So now I walk up to the fighter, his manager, his trainer, and said, listen, he weighs 49 and a half. As you know, he took the fight on 3 days' notice. I said, let's make a pass out of the fight. Let's forget about the weight. Just let's go out. He says, I want $1,500 from him. 1,500. I says, he's only getting 3,000. You want 50% of his pay? I says, forget it. I said, I'm not even going to go over and ask him. So they come back to me. I said, I'm not even going to ask him at all. If you don't want it for him weighing 40 and a half, just I'll pay you half the way the commission contract says, and you can go home and never fight for me again. He comes back 10 minutes later. The manager comes with his tail between his legs. He says, we'll take that fight at 49 and a half. I says, no problem. Thank you. So he scores a second round knockout over the guy. But the 49 and a half pounder, the guy who eventually lost, rocked him in the first round. Rocked the other guy. So the manager comes over to me after the fight. He says, he was better than we thought he was. Well, you told us, blah, blah, blah. I says, hey, maybe your guy doesn't have a good chin. My guy's got a good chin. The next fight, this guy got knocked out. Oh, wait, cold in a cucumber by a non-puncher.
Oh.
There you go. Oh. By the same level fighter. So it was his fighter didn't have a good chin. That's all.
OMG. Holy hell. How do you find out? How do you find out if a guy's got a good chin?
Well, it's early. It's easy to tell in the gym because the guy gets a bad. If he doesn't have a good chin, he gets a bad reaction when he gets hit. All kinds of funky shit happens. He starts holding on. He starts wobbling. He starts all of a sudden he's moving around, or he's not trying to engage anymore. He's like holding and locking his arms down when they're holding on the inside. They lock his arms down. There's all kinds of little old tricks that a wise man like me, a wise boxing guy like me could see. And other wise boxing guy, I'm not the only one, obviously, but it's very apparent, very, very, very apparent. Or it's sparring and the guy after 3 rounds, I've had enough. You're supposed to go 6 rounds and they do 3 or 4. I've had enough. Come on, Raphie, you're slowing down on me. Come on.
Now you're telling a story. What, you want to talk over you? What's going on, Rick? What's going on? Come on. You want to talk in a parallel universe? Okay. Where are we?
Raph, I'll tell you what happened today. I woke up exactly 4:05 Eastern time today, and I said to myself, in exactly 12 hours, I'll be on the show at Raphie.
Damn. I thought you meant you woke up at 4 p.m. like you had a late night and you woke up at 4 or 5 p.m.
I woke up at 4:05 and started making my world calls. And in the meantime, as soon as I woke up 4:05, because the excitement was coming through me, I said, tonight, for exactly 12 hours to the minute, I'll be on with Raphie. There you go, Raphie.
Yes. Wednesday. I'm always looking forward to Wednesday. Don't worry about that, Rick. I'm always looking forward to Wednesday.
I am too.
Absolutely.
I enjoy your show tremendously. You're a great host. Love the show, and I wouldn't exchange it for anything.
I think it's great for the people. I think it's great for the people because every week they know what's happening every Wednesday. I mean, I didn't even put a post out. They should know by now, and they do know by now. I mean, I'm busy sometimes. I can't.
Raph, is this week number 19?
Yes.
Well, next week I'll be due a raise.
Okay, folks, get that super chat. Get that super chat donations going. Got to give Rick a raise. I told you, Rick. As soon as I get enough money for the beach house, I'm gonna cut you in. So
the spare bedroom? The spare bedroom?
Be patient. Can have a beach house for you. A luxury beach house. Okay. So what do you call it? It's not even the beach house. I'm talking about the pool The pool area, the thing in the pool area. I don't know. Hey, I'm fantasizing. Man can dream, Connie. Okay, so James Jameson, after 35, it's a slide.
Yeah, no question. There's no question. No question at all. James is correct.
Big up yourself, Raphie. Nexus 1 is in the building. I haven't seen Nexus 1 in a while, but he's back. Rick, you bring him out, mate. You bring him out. What's this going on here? What's this question? Rick Fury. Oh, that's an interesting question. Rick Fury versus Wallin next. Warm up for Wilder. Wilder. Yeah,
no, that ain't happening. No.
Hey, Rick. No. Rick, is Fury gonna fight again this year like he wants to?
Yeah, if they're able to do what's his name Wilder. Yeah. I mean, if they allow people, if they allow 25% of the people and a new stadium seats 80, 90,000 people, let's say it's I don't know how many is that new football stadium. Let's say it's 80,000. They can get 20,000 in there. If they allow 25% seating in that new the football stadium with the dome, in Vegas.
Is it in LA?
No, Vegas. Right in Vegas. So it could very well end up there, but they got to have some people. They got to have 25%. If they don't, then you could forget it. They should make everybody wear masks.
Yeah.
Half the people should be wearing masks anyways, and that would be there.
Yeah, I mean 25%. I mean when they open up the beaches, it floods the area. People are cheek by jowl. So why not 25% if they wear masks?
Yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't. That's my opinion.
There's no reason why they shouldn't. But hey, Rick, what happens if Aaron pushes it back to February next year and Fury wants to fight this year? What happens then? What do you think? What's your best guess?
There's nothing. Listen. Fury's talking a lot of stuff. He can't be mad at Aaron. It's not Aaron's fault. There's a pandemic. It's not MTK's fault. It's not Frank Warren's fault. It's not Wilder. It's not Al Heyman's. It's nobody's fault. This is the shit we're dealing with this year. Okay, and if he went to court, he'd lose. I'll leave it like that. Thank you. Keep going.
Dame. If he goes to court,
not going to court. He's got too many smart people around him. He's not going to court.
Dame. Okay, so next question. I think this one comes from Roger Lee. And Roger Lee asks, why is Elidier Alvarez versus Joe Smith going to be on PPV in Canada for $60?
Because the promoter, the co-promoter of Alvarez owns the Canadian rights to the show. And he's elected to put it on pay-per-view in Canada because that's the only way he can make any real money. So if let's just say they got 2,000 people at returning to the promoter about $30. It's 65, about $30. He can pick himself up $60,000 by doing it on Canadian pay-per-view. That's why. Does it warrant Canadian pay-per-view? Hell no. Doesn't warrant any pay-per-view. So it's a good fight, but it's not a pay-per-view fight, and I think it's wrong. And don't forget, $65 in Canada is really like it's not a lot. It's not as much as it seems because Canadian values is greatly devalued compared to the U.S. dollar, but still shouldn't be on pay-per-view at all. Shouldn't even be $5.95, let alone $65. $65.
Okay, so that answers that. Crazy. I don't know how many people are going to be buying that. Maybe some hardcore diehards, but other than that, I'm not expecting massive numbers for that pay-per-view. So where are we now? Good day, everyone in the chat. Salute us, Raphael and Rick. Actual Facts Boxing Talk and A. Santos. Good evening to you. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are over there. Good day. Okay, so Aaron Daly up in the building. Yo, Rick, do you think that promoters, fighters still pay off referees and judges?
Ridiculous. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
No prayer, no way. First of all these years, and it has been done since it was last done one time in the 70s, nobody's been caught. Now, don't you think somebody would have caught or somebody would have blown somebody in? Not happening. The guy's not going to risk his reputation, his livelihood, basically not to go to prison if he was if he was caught. Now, did people back in the 90s get in trouble and get arrested for fixing the ratings, for bribing the officials to fix the ratings? Yeah, but it never, ever, ever was mentioned that the fights were fixed themselves. They were paid off to put certain judges in or certain referees. So the answer is absolutely not.
Okay. Whoops. Okay, so we got the reverbs come back over there. I think Rick, so I've muted your mic. I'll unmute you when. Okay, so do you guys? What does this say? Do you guys see Canelo taking the fight for the WB? Okay, so let's talk about that. That's from Emilio X. Emilio, great to have you in the chat. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and smash that share button. Okay, Rick, so let's talk about this. So the WBC put out a tweet. They put out hold on, let me find this damn thing. The WBC notified. Hold on. Let me find my tweet. Let me find my tweet because it explains it better. It explains it better than perhaps I could. Where is that tweet? I can't find it. I'm not gonna spend too much time looking for it. But okay, so long story short, the Benavides was stripped of the belt. Okay, that's super middleweight WBC. The WBC then say, okay, so the belt is vacant. We've got a mandatory already by the name of. We've got a mandatory by the name of Avin Yildirim from Turkey. And so we need somebody to fight him. So they had a few names, put their names in the pot. And out of it, we had Callum Smith in there. We had a few other guys in there. And we had Canelo. Canelo put his name forward to go into the pot. And I did a poll on Twitter and asked people who the WBC were gonna select, and 68% said it was going to be Canelo. But Rick, this smells. People are up in arms. What is your view on the matter? What's your view, Rick?
Okay, here goes. Let's go to Yadim for a second. When he was the mandatory for David Benavides, not one person complained. Not one person complained. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Benavides gets stripped. They elect to put Canelo in. He did not petition the WBC. That is not true. Okay? The WBC wanted him to be their champion. They made the call, and basically speaking, they worked out something on the fees for the WBC title, because he doesn't need the WBC title, but he had the WBA title. So here's what happened. If you take $35 million he's supposed to get for his fight, so you take 900,000 on 30, you take 1.5 million dollars. You take on 5 million, you take another 150,000. That would be $1,050,000 dollars going to the WBC. Canelo would say, "Hey, I'm not paying that, but I will give you 300,000 flat rate of fight." Okay, which for them to get 3% from somebody else, the other fighter would have to make $10 million. None of those other guys in that division can carry $10 million. Okay, so the WBC is very happy to collect $300,000 a fight. Okay, so believe me, they contacted him. They made a deal, I'm sure. Okay, for a flat fee of 300,000. And make a long story short, he warrants the opportunity Canelo does. Number one, okay, he's the biggest thing in boxing. He's a great fighter, and nobody else at 68's beating him. The complaint is that while he's fighting Yadim, oh, he's getting a pass fight. No, Yadim was already the mandatory for Benavides. Why is it Canelo's fault that this guy was the mandatory for Benavides? He is the benefactor of that, but it's not his fault. Nobody complained that Yadim was the mandatory for Benitez, did they? You never heard anybody complain about that. Now they're complaining because it's the biggest fighter in boxing. It's a cherry pick. It's not a cherry pick. Okay? They deemed him the mandated guy. I don't care what anybody writes. He didn't go to them. That's all propaganda put out by the WBC.
Huh.
They want him as the champ. Okay, I can't see a guy running to them and say, "Hey, I want to pay you $1,050,000 of fight sanction fees on top of the sanction fees I already paid the WBA." So they're coy, and they're going to come to. He lets them come to them. Yeah, okay, I'll fight for your title, but I want a deal on the sanction fees, $300,000 a fight. Okay, but now one person complained about Yadim being the mandatory Benavides. Now everybody's up in arms. Oh, another cherry pick by Canelo, another free pass. Stop, please. There's certain things people need to know. What's going on in the back room, behind the scenes, beside the propaganda, and I can deliver that. They need to know the chronological order of the way things happen in boxing, and most people don't know. Okay, the truth of the matter is, it's not a good fight. The Turkish guy's gonna get wiped off the face of the earth in that fight. I get it, but he was the mandatory contender. Okay, and he wants to be in that fight because he's the mandatory contender, and Canelo deserves to fight for the vacant title. Okay, that's all there is to it. I don't care if it's a good fight or a bad fight. Okay, the big question is, why was not Yadim the number one contender? But when he was the number one contender, nobody complained for Benavides. Nobody complained about that, did they?
Why was he the number one contender? That's a good question. Do you know?
Because he was the number one contender for Durrell, and the fight was stopped controversially and went to the scorecards. And it was a very controversial situation where the referee legitimately erred, and they put him in number one to stop all the confusion and any lawsuits and any of the BS, because it was a mistake by the ref. I don't remember what the mistake was.
It was a cut or something.
Yeah, I think they said it was from. I think either they said it was from a punch or from a cut the opposite way. Whatever. All I know is that's what happened. Okay, but that being said, you remember Yadim's not with a major promoter. He's with a guy named Owner, who's another Turk who lives in Germany. It's not like, this is a Bob Arum or L. Heyman deal. Listen, the WBC didn't back up David Benavides and put him back in for the vacant title, did they? After he lost on the scales. So, you know where they fit into this whole thing. I have no problem with Canelo fighting Yadim, but not because it's competitive, just because of the fact that Yadim was the mandatory and because Canelo is Canelo. I got no problem with it to fight for the vacant title. Zero.
Okay, so let me tell you my angle. I think everybody's got their own angle. Let me tell you my angle why I find it somewhat peculiar. Okay, so I don't have a problem with Yadim, or whatever he's pronounced it, being mandatory. My issue surrounds the notion that the franchise guy, the franchise champion, whatever you want to call him, to my belief, my understanding, my perception of it was that the franchise guy is now a king of sorts. He's now a king of sorts. In boxing royalty. And
are you talking about McCallum Smith?
Sorry?
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Canelo. I'm talking about Canelo. So I'm saying I don't have a problem with what Yadim being the mandatory. But my understanding of franchise was that now you're kind of like boxing royalty. You're a king. And a king only fight king. So my perception of it was that they would have another guy, a lesser guy, fight Yadim, and now you establish a champion, and then that champion is worthy of fighting the franchise king. You understand what I'm saying? So you get a Smith in there versus Yadim. Now you have the king. Now the franchise king fights that king. That was my perception of franchise.
Raphie.
Yeah.
You have a big head on you. Physically, big head.
I got a nice. I've been complimented. I've been told that I got a nice big head. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to get you fitted for rose-colored lenses on your glasses.
A king only fight king. A king only fight king.
No. I don't agree with you on that, but I do like the idea. That's the way it's supposed to be, but that's not the way it happens. That's not the way it happens as a general rule. 1 out of every 4 fights, a fighter fights somebody real good. They could actually maybe beat them.
We're talking about a franchise, Rick. We're talking about a franchise champion. This ain't the average guy. We're talking about a franchise.
It's a made up title. It's a made up title. The WBC.
Something should be different, Rick. You can't have the franchise guy just carrying on like a normal guy. What's going on?
Super champions and franchise champions. It's all happy horse shit.
Happy horse shizzle. OMG. So in other words, it don't make no difference. A king only fight king. I thought he was a franchise king. He was only going to fight kings, but he's fighting, no disrespect, Riyadeen. But he's fighting.
But that's not, you're misunderstanding. That's not his fault. I'm
not
blaming the WBC. Blame the WBC for putting Yadim #1.
I'm trying to get Morrow. I'm trying to get WBC Morrow on here. You don't want to face me. He's been ducking me since last year. I'm trying to get him on here. You come on, but Morrow, he's been ducking me from last year. I don't know what's going on.
Mauricio's been ducking you. Well, I don't blame him. I would duck you too if I was Mauricio. I'm Rick Glaser. I don't have to duck you.
OMG. Mauricio, stop ducking me, bro. You get a fair hearing over here. Okay, so let us press on. Where we at now? Rick, do you think no, we've done that one. Okay, this is a good one. Aaron Daly, get your questions in, folks. Aaron Daly asks, yo, Rick, which of the sanctioning bodies out of the alphabet organizations, IBF, WBA, WBC, WBO, are the most credible?
2 of them, WBO and IBF. The IBF strictly follows their rules. There's no exceptions. And the WBO is the fairest organization. They're fair to everybody. They treat a guy like me, who's not a Bob Arum or an Oscar or Al Heyman. They treat a guy like me just as good as they treat those guys. He picks up the phone. Paco picks up the phone for me. Rick, how are you? Can I do, what can I do for you? How can I help you? If he can't help me, he says, Rick, I can't do that. Or if he can, he says, Rick, I can do that. It's done. If he says that either which way, I just take it for face value. Very fair. Daryl Peoples, president of IBF, says very fair. Doesn't bend his rules. Rules are rules for everybody. For him, the BA and the BC, when it comes to rules, put it this way to you, it looks like what's that road course over in England? Brand Hatch, or something
Brands
like that.
Brands Hatch.
Yeah, like this. That's where their rules are.
Okay, so the WBO and the IBF stand firm and stand strong, and you can work with them. You can work with them and stick to their rules. Okay, so Aaron Daly, yo, Rick, have you brokered deals for any of Eddie Hearn's fighters? How were they or Eddie to deal with?
I brokered a fight when Anthony Joshua was on the way up. He fought a guy named Jason Gavern on a week's notice. I think 2004 or 2005, and I brokered that deal. But that's the only time I've ever dealt with Eddie. Eddie's all right to deal with. The only thing I don't like about Eddie is he's the kind of guy that as soon as you finish with him, he puts you on the phone with somebody else, and then if you have a thing about Eddie, then he won't, it's supposed to go down this way. Then you can't get a hold of Eddie again. He doesn't pick up his phone. I mean, have horseshit, bullshit. But I only dealt with Eddie one time directly.
Okay, so keep the questions coming in, folks. Don't complain when the end of the show if I didn't manage to fit them in. Okay, so get them in early. Okay, so Wizard Sleeves writes, Audie Harrison never looked like Sugar Ray Robinson before he got punched in the face.
Well, no, not only because he's a heavyweight, Sugar Ray Robinson's the welterweight, and one's southpaw, one's left-handed. But as a general rule, fighters, when you're throwing punches, look like Sugar Ray. Anybody that's got any resemblance of any talent, they all look great. Shadow boxing and stuff like that. Then they hit, they fall all apart. You know what I mean? So I've seen it so many times. I mean, it's almost comical.
Yo, Rick, from Aaron Daly? Yo, Rick, who's your closest boxer friend and why, if you have any?
Nobody in particular, probably Billy Irwin, the former two-time world lightweight challenger back in the 90s, fought Paul Spadafora, and the 2000s. Fought Paul Spadafora in 2000, lost his decision. In his last fight, I put him in Juan Diaz, and he got stopped in the ninth round. Him, Arthur Williams, former world cruiserweight champ, Stevie Forbes, former junior lightweight champ, all very close, personal friends of mine. And that's really about it. I'm not really close to a lot of fighters. I'm not a guy that hang around gyms. I'm more of a white collar person in boxing than I am a blue collar person.
Right. If you don't hang around the gyms, how do you know? How do you establish that somebody's a fighter, somebody that you could work with?
Well, I go out and look at them. I don't hang around. I go out and look at them. I can tell right away, in 5 minutes of watching them work out, hit the bag, and then you put them in the ring for a couple of rounds. I could just tell right away. But that being said, I don't hang around the gyms. Somebody calls me up, the trainer, the managers. Oh, come on down. I want to show you this fighter. I think he's got potential. I want to see what you think. Maybe we can work together with him. Then I go down there. But I don't hang around daily and wait for people to come walking through the door.
I get you. Is Wilder weak around the whiskers? Asks James Jameson.
Actually, I think he takes a better chin shot to the chin than he does a shot to the body. I don't think he's got bad whiskers. I just think he got hit with so many of them with fury. Yeah. He got wore down. You're not going to get him out of there one punch. Now, you may now be able to because, he's in a weakened state now. He's not what he was, and he took such brutal punishment over 21 minutes. There's a good possibility that he doesn't have the chin that he did. But up until this point now, he does have a good, respectable chin. No question. And a big heart, big heart. No question about it. But I don't think he takes a body shot real well.
Okay, so Aaron Daddy up in the building, keeping them coming thick and fast. Yo, Rick, what's the process for scoping, scouting, and securing good spot? I think you just answered that question. No.
You're talking about fighters. Now we're talking about sparring partners. But I'll answer that question.
Yeah.
I look at a guy calls me up, let's just say, for instance, and he says, "Oh, we're fighting such and such," and I know how big such and such is. I know his style. So I said, I got a few guys here that'll work, that I've used before. Now, if he says he doesn't like any of those guys, then I got to go out and look for more guys. Then I look at their measurements and stuff like that. Then I go on YouTube and look at their style. If their measurements measure up, okay, then I go to style. The second. But if the measurements don't measure up, in other words, if the guy's 6'3" or 4" and he's fighting a guy 6'7", I'm not sending him. You understand? But then I got to look at the style, and then the style determines if I finally send him or not. So, and what level he's at. So in other words, I can't send a guy 18 and 15 for a guy who's a big killer puncher. I'll send a guy 10 and 1, 8 and 0, 7 and 0. That's a good prospect that's coming along. Something like that.
Yes.
So, it also depends on the weight class. That's really important too. So in other words, if you're fighting, let's say you're in the junior featherweight class and a guy's 5'7" and one guy's 5'6", or 5'5", that's a big gap. Okay, but if it's a heavyweight 166 and 168, that's not such a big gap anymore.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, so what we got here? We got we got a joke there. We got Aaron Daly keeping them coming thick and fast. Yo, Rick, I remember Ike Ibuchi was due to come back when he returned from prison. Not sure what happened, but do you know why the return never happened? Will he come?
Because he was everybody that was trying to deal with him realized he was crazy, and there was just no end game there for anybody. You know, he wanted money up front. He wanted a salary bonus, a monthly salary, like he was king shit. He shit the bed. So it wasn't going to work for anybody.
Wasn't going to work with anybody. Plus, he's got to be old now. He's got to be old.
Yeah. No, definitely old. But not only that, everybody thought he was crazy.
Oh dear, so, that ain't good.
Listen, he ended up in prison because he was crazy. That was my.
Damn.
I mean, he kidnapped the hooker. I mean, that wasn't real smart.
That's not smart. That ain't smart at all. Kidnapped her. Damn. Anyway. Strange world. Where are we now? She's up in the building. Big up Rick. Big up Raphie. Big up to the chat. Good to have you in here. And I think Shiz Biz comes with a question. Okay, what do you think about the WBC considering making a new weight class between cruiser and heavyweight?
I think it's a fabulous idea. I'm not for more weight classes, but this is an essential one because of this disparity of how big heavyweights are today. Fury just weighed, he's 6'9", just weighed 271 pounds. Most of these guys are over 250 pounds today, 260, 270, 275, 280. There's no reason and that they can't make, if they can't make 200 and they're smaller than those guys, why should a guy who weighs 215, 220 pounds be forced to fight a guy 275 pounds? It's a safety issue. Just to let you know, the guy who brought it to Mauricio Suleiman was a guy named Don Majeski. Yeah. He's a legendary New York City boxing agent and boxing historian. He lives in Queens, New York, and he's been in boxing literally his whole life. He started in boxing in 1969. He is now 66 years old. So he's been in boxing 51 years of his life. And he literally started in boxing when he was 15 years old. Okay. Mm-hmm. And to make a long story short, he's the one that went to Mauricio and saying, listen, this is a little unsafe and not fair. The guys 220, 225 pounds have to fight guys that are 275. Now, back years ago, remember, the cruiserweight division was 190, and that went up to 200 because of the disparity of the heavyweights. So now, instead of raising the cruiserweight, leave that sit and don't raise it 25 pounds because now cruiserweights that can't make 175 that are barely 200 that are only fighting at 195, 200 because that's the weight limit, they're going to be greatly advantaged in the cruiserweight division. Do we need an 18th weight, belt? We don't need one as far as the confusion to the public. But I was asked about it, and I said to them, it's a safety factor. There's no question about it. And heavyweights only get bigger in a few years from now.
Yeah.
You're not going to call this division junior heavyweight. They're not going to call it super cruiserweight. It's going to have its own name. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to warrior weight. I don't know what they're going to call warrior weight, battling weight. Who knows? I don't know what they're going to call it. But in the meantime, it's a definitely necessity because, like I said, too big of a disparity with those big heavyweights today. Now, 10 years ago, we didn't need it.
Yeah.
But now we do now. We do now.
Okay.
So this is not a grab for more titles to get more money. It's a safety issue. Because, listen, if they were telling you that we needed a weight class between 54 and 60, there's only 6 pounds. No, we give you a 57-pound weight class. That's a money grab. This isn't a money grab.
So, historically, how is this going to work out when you're comparing fighters historically, and not all of a sudden now there's a new category?
You can't anyways. Everybody compares like Rocky Marciano. They were under 200 pounds. They would be cruiserweights today. They wouldn't even be heavyweights. You realize that Leon Spinks in 78 beat Ali, and he only weighed 197 pounds. Look at Larry Holmes' weight when he was the champ. He was 211. These guys are 270 today. Look at Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis fought in the look at the comparison. Here's a comparison. Look at the comparison between Mike Tyson, ferocious in the 80s, and then Lennox Lewis comes along 5 years later, and he makes Mike Tyson look like a pygmy. Made him look like a pea shooter. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. Not at all. Look at
now Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua makes Lennox look small.
Don't talk about my Lennox like that.
No, I love Lennox. He just should be an announcer. Should be laying on a beach smoking ganja in Miami or Jamaica.
I'm sure. Well, he probably. Well, hey. I want to get him on too, so I best not say anything. It's okay. So, what was I just gonna say? Well, I was gonna say something. I know what I was gonna. I had a question of my own. So what's this year? So Eddie Hearn announces that a deal has been struck for Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell. The fight will take place in America. Date to be announced middle of or end of November, stated Hearn.
I mean, it was a mandated fight. Ryan Garcia chose his WBC eliminator over the WBO eliminator with Emmanuel to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line to the whole story. It's happening. It's going to be a good fight for boxing. It's a fight about what I call two different cultures, two different countries, two different cultures, and two different styles of fighting. One guy boxes real good, southpaw, Olympian. The other guy's not an Olympian. He's right-handed, but he's a power puncher. They're just two completely different fighters, but they'll meet, and they will be the eliminator for the WBC.
And it's going to happen in America. It's going to happen in America.
Yep.
So we're gonna have another late night over here in the UK. Unfortunately, who do you like in that fight, Rick? Who do you like in that fight?
Garcia.
Why?
Bigger, stronger. He'll put out much more weight. The night of the fight, stronger, better balance. The other guy moves around a lot, but you know what? Garcia's a young guy. Will track. Is heavy-handed, fast-handed. And he'll track him down. I don't think Luke punches hard enough to get this guy's respect.
Hey, my pick is sorry UK guys. I'm a UK guy myself, but if I had to pick, I'm going to put a few pounds down on Garcia to knock out Luke Campbell. What do you think about that bet? Is that a good bet? Is that a bad bet?
You think what? I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm thinking that Garcia is going to knock out Campbell. No disrespect, Campbell.
Yeah, it's good chance. Good chance.
Good chance. Okay. So let's keep.
They are 10 years apart. Garcia's only 22. The other guy's 32. It's big.
Yeah.
In a small weight class.
Yeah. I'm not hoping for it, but I would love Campbell to win, but I just think Garcia's got them fast, heavy hands, and we gon' see. Okay. So as we move on. What does this one say here? Okay, so it's CCR2971. I don't know if that's his pin code, but yes, if Fury beats Wilder the third time, where does Wilder go from there? What fights can be made? How does his career recover?
It depends. If he loses a close decision in a rough fight, a good fight, he can come back. If he gets wiped off the face of the earth, he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have lost all credibility, and he'll be done. I mean, could he fight again? Yeah, he'd be cannon fodder for Andy Ruiz, one of those type of guys. But I don't see any I don't see a very bright future if he gets wiped off the face of the earth. If he loses a disputed decision and is competitive for all 12 rounds and gave 100% of himself, you know, he may be able to you know, fight again and be, you know, and get good fights and stuff like that. But if he gets wiped off the face of the earth, he might as well just hang her up. You know, he's older too. He's like 35 years old himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So yeah, my question relating to that question is, what happens if Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury? What happens then? They have to fight again, don't they?
Yes, but you don't have to worry about that. I promise.
OMG. OMG. Let's get into the next question. Kieran Betts in the building. And yes, good, Kieran Betts. Good to see you. Okay. And Ruben Guerrero back up in the building with a question. Okay. So what does Rick think of Dillian bringing Caldwell? Damn, that's a good question. Bringing in Caldwell less than a week before the fight, even though he just changed head trainer.
It's a good thing because obviously he has him there because he's got confidence in Dave Caldwell, and that will help Dillian White. Because if he gets buzzed in the corner, when he turns around and go back, or he gets buzzed in the fight, you turn around and go back to the corner. You know, he needs a calming voice in the corner, and obviously he feels that way about Caldwell, or he wouldn't have asked him to come to the into the corner, especially at short notice. So there's reasons for it. So it can only be a good thing. I don't see any negativity.
Don't see any negativity in that. That was from Ruben Guerrero. Keep your questions coming thick and fast. I've only got Rick for another like 25 minutes or so. Okay, so what we're talking about here. AJ is about the same dimensions as George Foreman. What, the young George Foreman? Shorter. Foreman's shorter.
Well, Foreman was a giant back in his day. AJ's what he's supposed to be today. There's the difference.
Yes. Okay, so we've run out of questions over there, and so we head over to my list. Let's get into my list. The WBC president. I'm glad I saved this one. The WBC president, El Presidente, says if Lopez beats Lomachenko, he has merits to be recognized as a franchise champion. Talk to me about that, Rick.
Oh, well, of course he does, because he'll have 2 titles. But let me say this to you: he might not want to be franchise champion. So who knows? I don't think he wants another champion in the same weight class. You know, that would be below him. Then it adds confusion. So Top Rank will be in control of that situation. So we'll see what happens, but probably not, because he's a young fighter, and it feels like if he fights Lomachenko, he'll fight all comers. Trust me.
Yeah,
he's got enough balls to fight Lomachenko, enough guile, mental moxie to fight him and beat him. And then he'll fight it. They'll put him in with Godzilla.
Yes. Okay, so let's crack on with my questions. Anybody want to ask a question, put it in the chat. Okay, so we talked about Garcia Campbell. That's sorted out. Dillian White says, I have a feeling Fury will beat Wilder and then vacate the WBC belt.
Well, I don't know if he's vacating any belt. I don't see that happening. I don't see it in this case. There's no reason why Fury would be afraid of White. It's a different league, boxing wise, a different league, speed wise, size wise, as far as height, reach, mobility. I don't see White beating Fury. So that's just my opinion. I think I've always said that Wilder was capable of beating White was capable of beating Wilder, but you saw what Tyson Fury is a very unique fighter. Very unique. Physically, he's mobile. He does things that are unconventional. Very conventional. and he's just one of those kind of guys that has it all together. He can see shit coming a mile away. His ring awareness is probably one of the greatest I've ever seen since Duran was in his heyday. His ring awareness is second to none. And that's something nobody talks about. I mean, he gets out of the way brilliantly. He sees shit coming. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a ring general. He's got a great jab. He moves his head good. The flaws just aren't there.
Flaws are always there, Rick. Come on.
No, they're not. They're not apparent. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's got some. I think if somebody takes it to his body, like Otto Wallin did. Remember, Otto Wallin changed his strategy when he cut him, but he was going to the body and he's having some success there, Rick. He was having some success to the Fury.
He was, but a guy like Tyson Fury can't get up for an Otto Wallin, and that's how that happens.
Yeah,
believe me. If that was a guy that was challenging that guy would be a whole different state of mind. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
Yeah.
So years ago, I was talking to this old time boxer. I saw on his record he beat some good fighters. He lost to some fair ones, beat some more good ones, lost to some fair ones. And I said to him, "What was the big difference?" He says, "The guys who I wanted to fight, I beat. The guys I didn't want to fight, I lost to. He couldn't get up for him."
Yeah. That's tricky. It's Rick. It's a champion mindset. A crucial element of the champion mindset is that he takes everyone as a threat. And I put it to you that's why Marvin Hagler. That's one of the reasons why Marvin Hagler was so good. Everybody, he treated everyone as a threat.
Larry Holmes did too. Yes, I agree on both. But that was that. This is now the mentality is different today.
Yeah,
completely different today. Yeah. Today, they don't feel like everybody's challenging them today. They only feel like the great ones are challenging them. Like Fury would get up for Joshua. He would get up for White. He would get up for Wilder, which he has. And
literally,
right, literally. But you get up for those type mentally and emotionally for those kind of fights from the get-go. From the moment that ink is dried on that contract, you're all, come on, let me go out and run. Let me go out and tear off heads and shit next.
Yeah.
You go fight. It's not the money. It's not about the money at that level. It's about the money, but it's about the inspiration fighting certain people brings. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what it's about, and that's what separates the men from the boys at that level. At that level. At that level.
Yes. Let's get back into the chat. I might have a question or two. Okay. Yes, we do. So Philip Carl Roberts is up in the building. Can you please wish Don King a happy birthday from me? If you talk to him, Rick, I share the birthday date.
Tomorrow. Yep. Tomorrow's Don's birthday. I will do that. I Philip Carl Roberts. Yep. I will do that. Yeah. His birthday is tomorrow. Today is the 25th anniversary of Mike Tyson versus Peter McNeely, one of the more infamous fights in boxing history.
You just triggered a memory, Rick. You triggered a memory. You see, so well, first of all, happy birthday to Don King. And a happy birthday to the Philip Carl Roberts, an hour and a half in advance.
Yeah, Don will be 89 tomorrow.
Doing good.
89. Hey. Yeah, and all his tools are still working, I'm hearing.
Hey, he's got hey, when you're rich like that, you got a lot of reason to live when you get old. Trust me. If I was rich and old like that, I'd be in the health spa. I'd be in the health spa a couple of days a week. I'd be on the golf course. Hey, you got every reason to live. I'd be getting stem cells a few times a year injected into me. Trust me, you got a lot to live for when you're comfortable at that age. Okay, so happy birthday to both of you. French fries champion. Yes. Oh, almost forgot. So 25 years ago, the anniversary, was a question I was going to ask anyway. I didn't write it down. So Philip McNeely left that fight and allegedly went straight to the crack house. You know anything about that? If it's no, just say no.
No, I know. I do know about it. It's not true at all. Zero.
Oh,
Now that doesn't mean when he went back to his city, his town, he didn't, but he did it in Vegas. He was in the casino. He was with. I was friends with the manager. I supplied Peter a lot of his opponents. I was very close to his manager Vinny Vecchione and his trainer Cliff Fippen, and he was always in the whole time he was out in Vegas. He was in the hotel. Now, did he get back to when he got back to Massachusetts, Boston?
Yeah.
I don't know that, and because they're not around him every day out there, so who knows? But he was not in Vegas. That's all. That's all in Vegas.
Not in Vegas. Not in Vegas.
No,
okay. No. So who we got here? We got Ruben Guerrero. If Lopez beats Loma and becomes franchise, are there now 2 franchises?
No, the franchise champ is Loma. So if Lopez beat Loma, he would be the franchise champion, and Loma wouldn't be it anymore. So no, that's the way the WBC works. You can have one weight champion per weight, one franchise champion per weight class.
Oh.
Okay, so there's no he couldn't be a franchise champion.
No.
Still.
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting question. Okay, so Robert Brown says the WBC is ruining boxing with these made-up belts. It just don't make sense.
I 1,000% agree. You have eliminators. You shouldn't have WBC interim titles. You shouldn't have a franchise champion. And a guy who gets to be number 1 in the world should have to fight number 2 before he gets to fight the big champion. And so you just don't slide a guy through the rankings. So I agree with you 1,000%, Robert.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 1 2 1 2. Okay. So Lopez beats WBC. Last one is back up in the building. Haven't seen Last One around these regions for a long time. Rick, you're bringing them out. You're bringing them back. Rick. They're coming back.
No, I'm glad I
am. Me too. So, sorry, just got here. Who's Mr. Glaser picking in the white fight? I see it going either way, but no way is it going 12 rounds.
I like white. Late stop or the distance, but probably a late stop.
A late stoppage. White has got to be up for this one. He can almost taste the championship belt. He can almost taste it. Okay, so Philip Khan Roberts says, I think White deserves his shot, but I think Fury versus White would be the same story as Fury versus Chisora. OMG.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so Fury has pillow hands and he can take pressure. Pillow
hands. He look like pillow hands against Wilder.
Well, he's got some body weight behind those pillow hands, so there might be pillow hands, but he has got some body weight. I mean, taking shot after shot after shot. Would you want to take shot after shot after shot from a big lummox? I'm not calling him a lummox, but a big ox. Let's call him an ox, a big ox like Fury. Even if he doesn't pound for pound, he's not the heaviest puncher. I mean, if he keeps on landing on you, it's going to be, at the very least, it's going to be uncomfortable. We got here. I don't think White will beat Fury. But a good fight for sure. Still deserves his shot. Needs to be AJ and Wilder. Needs to be next. AJ and Wilder can wait, says Last One. Where are we? God bless Don King. Happy birthday. Any beard birthday is the second. What? I don't get it. Which means I got some soul food from Inglewood. Okay. So let's go over to one of my questions. Okay. Get your questions in, folks. A few minutes left. Okay. So Daniel Dubois, Ricardo Schneider's set. Pfeiffer is out due to medicals.
it's a last minute short notice replacement. Dubois is Dubois. Okay, he's beaten anybody at this level.
Mm-hmm.
Does he get to the next level and beat Joyce? Well, I like him in that fight. We'll see. Does he get to the next level and beat those guys? Hopefully, he's going to be the heir apparent. But boxing is made up of levels, and Ricardo Snyder's the same kind of guys he's been fighting, which he's supposed to. So is Pfeiffer. So that's interchangeable. So it doesn't matter. But Joe Joyce is the step up. If he gets past the Joe Joyce, then it's the big boys. It's the Dillian Whites. It's the Furies. It's the once he becomes number one. Nobody's going to fight Dubois without him being number one.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to take that chance. So he's got to be maneuvered in the number one. And with having Frank Warren, so he's going to be number one probably in the WBO. If he gets with Arum, if he they do a deal on Dubois like they did on Fury, he's going to end up with number one in a bunch of organizations, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's see what happens. But he's an excellent fighter. He's the heir apparent. He's the next generation over there.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into another one from me. Okay, Rick, I don't know if you heard this, but the Contender Series could return on BBC with Tyson Fury as host.
Well, it's a funny thing. It may end up at BBC because BBC pulled out of boxing a while ago. Now they're going to get in all of a sudden. Something doesn't. Unless somebody knows at BBC and pushing this thing or something.
Yeah.
When I heard it, the Contender idea that I like the Tyson Fury involvement. It may be one of those things that MTK went to them and doing their own Contender Series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that, but something doesn't spell right because BBC's turned their back on boxing a while ago.
Okay, so Sergio Martinez pays no mind to critics eager to get in the ring.
Embarrassing. Don't even want to talk about it. Embarrassment to boxing, embarrassment to Sergio Martinez. He's embarrassing himself. He was an excellent champion, and that was then. This is now. He needs to go off into the wild blue yonder and be a quality guy and stop trying to be a fighter still, because he's no longer a fighter. And the last time we saw him, he was knocked out one round. He was hobbling around all over the place, had bad legs, bad knees. Come on, game's over.
Bad hips, the gig's over. The gig is over. Okay, so Frampton versus Trainer. ESPN telecast peaked at 427,000 viewers and averaged 264,000.
That's a good number for that. For the guy was a 30-1 underdog, whatever he was. Couldn't fight, just a guy.
Yeah,
that's a great rating for that fight. Great rating.
Great ratings for that fight. And in contrast, where is it? Yeah, there it is. In contrast, Benavides versus Angulo.
Yeah, awful. 245 and 188 average. Awful. I wrote about it on Twitter. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Here's what people don't understand. A lot of people don't watch ESPN boxing because it's free and it's not special. Oh, I'll catch it in the middle of the night. Okay, but here's the deal. When you're paying for it every month, like you do Showtime, you're sure they're going to watch it. And they weren't even watching it when they're paying for it. So that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign at all. Not a good sign at all. Okay, so let's continue. Where am I? Why am I blanked out? Boom. Okay, I'm back. So let us continue. We've only got Rick for a few more minutes. Let's make them count. Okay.
The Bears getting hungry.
The Bears getting hungry. I'm feeling a little bit peckish myself. Hold on. Let me go over to one in the chat. Rick. Philip Carl Roberts says, Rick, the fans were under the impression that the franchise champion could not lose the title. Is that incorrect?
Of course, it's incorrect. If the franchise champions fight somebody, the franchise champ has more than one belt. So if he'd have two belts, he'd be the franchise champ, right? Then if he loses, those two belts go to the new champ. That's all there is to it. Why couldn't the franchise champion not lose his belt in the ring?
I agree with Philip Roberts when it was originally touted by Mauricio Suleiman. He gave the impression that the franchise guy was going to keep his belt. Kind of, it was weird, but you got the impression that the franchise guy keeps his belt. It was weird. I don't know. It's muddled. It's muddled. It's a muddled water. But let us continue. Navarro versus Justin DeLoach tops FS1 card on Saturday.
That's not a main event.
That's not a main event.
That's garbage. No.
Yeah.
It's not a main event. That's complete. It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad fight, but those guys don't warrant being on a main event.
No,
that's an undercard. That's an undercard fight.
Yeah. Of course. Parker, last few minutes. Parker hopes an increased offer will get Junior Farr. We'll get the Junior Farr fight.
We've been hearing about that fight for 8 months, long before COVID, last fall.
Damn.
They still ain't got it together yet. They didn't have it together before they ever heard of COVID-19. I know it's a big fight over there in New Zealand. I get it.
Yeah.
But they need to move on. If they can't get it together quickly, they need to move on. It's just out of control now.
Get it done. We'll move on. Herring versus Frampton. What do you think about that fight, Rick? You see it happen this next year?
No, it'll happen in November or December. Two super guys, great guys. I wish them both the best. I'm not going to be a favorite of either guy in the fight. I like both of them as human beings. I like both of them as fighters. I think Herring's got a little more left at this point in his career. And then Frampton. Another thing is Frampton came up from 26, and before that 22. This guy went down from 35 to 30. So the night of the fight, he'll be much bigger than Frampton will be. Much bigger.
Much bigger than Frampton will be. And damn, Rick, guess who's here?
Troy.
Hey, Rick, it was Troy's birthday the other day. You're gonna wish him a happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Troy. Good man.
Can you believe the guy is 49? He don't look a day over 31.
Age is just a number. It's how you feel, you know.
OMG. Okay. So where are we? Let's get in the last couple questions. Harry, who you got winning? Herring or Frampton? How do you see that one going down, Rick?
Herring or Frampton? I think Herring will get it. I think Herring will get a decision. If the fight's over here, over there, he may not get a decision. He'll win the fight in the ring, but I don't know if he'll get a decision over there. But it'll be close no matter what. Nobody's getting knocked out. I don't see that happening.
Nobody getting knocked out.
No, it goes to the cards.
Yeah, goes to the cards. And I think, Rick, I'm just scanning this thing now, and I think we have come to the end of the show. And it's been another good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself. A lot of great questions from some very rabid, excellent boxing enthusiasts. Ralph, I can't wait to do the show next week. I'm already thinking about next week. What I want to do, Ralph, is I want to designate. I want you to designate like a half hour to a specific topic that you want to talk about, and if you could poll your viewers, we'll see what they want to talk about. What particular subject? We'll spend like a half hour on that subject.
I like that idea.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do? You've heard it from Rick, folks. So that's something I wanted to touch on anyway. because I don't know how many of you are aware of the facility. What is it called? The community tab. The community tab. So when you come into Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, when you come into the channel, you can there are a number of different tabs, and you scroll along to the community tab, and you will see posts in there. So what I will do every week, I will have you guys put in the topic that you want to have discussed. So probably put it in on a Monday, and you got 2 days. You got 2 days to get your answers in, and then we'll focus on a topic. I don't know if it's going to be half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, and we'll talk on that topic exclusively. But how silly of me, Rick! I can't let you go without asking you this question: Is Terence Crawford a duck? We got people coming out. We got Thurman coming out saying, "Hey, send me the contract and I'll sign it." We got Porter coming out saying, "Hey."
The Porter's a personal issue. They're friends. They're personal friends. I get that one. Thurman just priced himself out. He wanted ridiculous money. When you want ridiculous money and the other guy's a sitting champ and undefeated, you're coming off a loss. Now you're going to dictate how much money you're getting, and you overprice yourself. Forget about it. Arab's not doing that. Arab's too smart for that. It's not Crawford. That's Arab. Arab's right. Yeah. Fight for a reasonable amount of money. There's no fans. There's no sponsors. Less foreign TV revenue. No commercial distribution. Come on, please, please, please.
Okay, and just before you go, what was the question I just had in the top? Oh yeah. What is does Crawford have to leave Top Rank and go over the road to PBC in order to secure a fight with the PBC guys? Because you got Spence there.
Why would he do that? What's the purpose? He's an undefeated champion. Okay, Spence. We don't know what Spence has got left. Garcia beat Spence. What do they have? They got a Garcia who's lost 2 or 3 times. Well, what are they going to have then?
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what Spence has got left.
Let's see what he's got left.
It's not about all them other guys. It's only about Spence and Crawford. If Spence has got a lot left and beats Garcia, then they don't want to make if they don't want to make Spence and Crawford, Al Heyman and Spence should be embarrassed. Because if I was Spence and the guy with my personality as far as gumption goes, I'd say, Al, make that fucking fight.
Yes. Or else. Yes.
That's all there is to it.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
But if Spence is down 10 or 15% from what he was, okay, and Garcia wins, what do they got? What's the reason to go over there?
Yeah.
Then he's the king of rock and roll because there's no Spencer out anymore. He's the undefeated guy. I don't care what weight he won titles in, which one he was undisputed. He's 36 and fucking old.
Damn.
Okay? And everybody he's basically blown out or stopped, blown out, whatever you want to call it. He's a great fighter. He switches. He's fast-handed. Got a great chin. He's tough as nails. There's no reason that he has to duck anybody. That's in people's minds. And they got to stop telling people who they should fight for, what promoter they should fight for. That's not in the business. They don't understand. The guys on mainstream ESPN, ESPN Plus gets all kinds of Sports Center stuff, getting $5 million a fight, and they're telling him who he should fight. Okay, he's done pretty good so far. 3-division world champion, 36-0. I think he's made some very competent decisions. He's with the #1 promoter in the world. I think he's made some very competent decisions. And he brought stablemates along with him. Harry's a world champion. Steve Nelson's undefeated, a super middleweight that he's partners with Bomac on, Crawford. They got Harry. I mean, come on. It's not about one fighter. It's about a team. And it's a team effort. And Top Rank's done great things for Crawford himself and his fighters and continues to do so. It's not Aram's fault that these people price themselves out. What? Okay, they do it intentionally. They don't want to fight. We'll throw a figure out there. Okay, if Aram goes for it, okay. If he doesn't, fuck him. No, it's not what it's about. Get real. Get your. We got a pandemic going on. Thurman wants to fight him. Fight for pandemic money. Don't overprice yourself. What I know for a fact, what Thurman wanted for that fight, okay, he would have got that before pandemic.
Damn, Rick. I hate to do this to you, but I got one more. I hate to do this to you. I got one more. I forgot to ask you last week. I forgot to ask you last week, but
we got 2 minutes.
It's an interesting thing. F.A. Ajagba left. Who did he leave? He left
Richard Schaefer and Shelley Finkel, which is nothing more. Both guys are nothing more than a division of Al Heyman. Keep going.
Yeah, and he left them, Shelley Finkel and whatever, and Schaefer, and run the Shields.
Ralph Shield. Correct.
Yeah, dropped him because he left Finkel. What the hell's going on? Where's the loyalty? What's going on? Talk us through it, Rick. What the hell happened?
Nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. Top Rank made him a deal. He wasn't happy. He wasn't fighting often enough with those guys, and he wasn't fighting getting enough money, peanuts. Yeah. And he was seeing peanuts. And now, Jay Prince came along, offered him good money, and Top Rank signed him up. And now he's going to make real good money. He's going to be featured on TV, and everybody's happy.
I thought the money was at PBC. I thought PBC were the ones who paid the good money.
No, that was 3.5 years ago, and the money's dried up since then. That game is over.
So why did Ronnie Shields drop him? What's going on there?
Because he's loyal to Shelley. Because he's loyal to Shelley Finkel. Because Shelley brings him all his fighters. That's why.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I'm hungry.
Rick,
you're holding up a good man's meal.
It's been great, Rick. Thank you so much, and we're going to see you same place, same time next week.
If I gotta fly somewhere, I'm gonna be not flying between 4 and 6 Eastern time on Wednesdays. I promise you. You're a good man. I really enjoy your show. Thank you for having me again.
Rick, the appreciation is mutual, and the people feel the same way. Rick Glaser, thank you, people. That was Rick Glaser, and Rick Glaser in the area. And I think we knocked that one out of the park. The flow, even if I say so, was impeccable. Yeah, I like the flow. It was a nice flow. And and we had some old faces come back up in here. We got too many to mention. I think last one was up in here. Roger Lee's a new guy. Of course, we have the regular people up in here. Strong support from the James Jameson. We got the big boys boxing up in here. Long time friend of the channel. Philip Carl Roberts, is his birthday tomorrow. Who else we got? We got Nexus. I don't see Nexus all the time, but it's a good thing that Nexus 1 has not forgotten us. Wizard Sleeves has been coming around these parts for a long time. Emilio X is a newcomer to the channel, of course. Aaron Daly coming strong with those questions. Aaron's been coming around here for a while now. Shiz Biz, long time subscriber. Kieran Betts, I think he was here from down near the beginning. I seem to recall. Robert Brown, a new face, has started to come around. And of course, we have Troy joining us. Hasn't joined us in a while. Good to see Troy back up in here again. We like to crack jokes over here and have a little laugh and nudge some ribs, but it ain't serious. It ain't that serious. I hope I haven't missed anybody. If I have, it's not intentional. I don't know. I got a good feeling. I like the flow with this one. Great show, says the Philip Carl Roberts. Great show, says the James Jameson. And absolutely happy birthday to the Philip Carl Roberts. And the Don King tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, we got a full schedule. Drop loads of videos. Check out the videos. Check out the lives. YouTube is still hiding my shizzle for 12 hours, but hey, I don't care. If you get through adversity, then you emerge at the other end only stronger. So I don't mind a little bit of adversity. It breeds character and strength in the human being. So I don't know. Is there anything else left for me to say? I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. So what is it? It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the Raphael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio, it's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares, and it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live show. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Go ahead and check out the community page where I post up all kinds of shiznicks. And yeah, remember the new project. Remember the Project Rick, where Rick wants you to put the questions in that you want to be asked, and you will find that area in the community page. Okay, but for now, I think we've chopped it up nice and sweetly, and the only thing left for me to say is, where is it? Where are we? Wait for it. Blessed.